right. Welcome to the daily money market. We actually going live today in the different times. The reason why to go live today is just to check it out in terms of the market, and as well as also to check in terms of the Donald Trump inauguration that are happening today, the 20th of January. So it's very exciting. There's a couple of stories that I actually break in before the inauguration start. So this is like just a build up to inauguration. So we're gonna go live time to time, as I said. There's also a governor of Reserve Bank of South Africa that is actually, speaking today as well. We're gonna also go live on that just also to make sure that we understand what's going on in terms of the interest rates in South Africa, and as well as what is happening in the US, and again checking also the market, and including also to listen to the different analysts that they're going to talking about the market today. So yeah, the M today mostly in America, it's quiet. It's very, very quiet. It's a holiday, uh, but the market will still have a little bit of volatility later on, just because of it's a first day for Donald Trump to be in a White House. So it's very interesting. In terms of the breaking news, one of the biggest breaking news that just come in is normally when they are doing in US the inauguration, they always do an outdoor. All right, looks like there's a little bit of
Let's turn back to what is happening in the Middle East. The long-awaited, long-delayed Gaza ceasefire has now begun. This, of course, after 15 months of war, the first phase of the sixth
okay.
truce deal aims to release.
So normally when they do the inauguration, they do it outside, which is outdoors, so that a lot of people can be there, a lot of people can participate. But because of the weather and how it's cold, in US they have decided to actually change from outdoor to do it from indoor. So there will be a different ceremonial spaces. So there will be another space in a Capitol Hill whereby there will be speeches, there'll be celebrations, and so on, and then there will be another inauguration indoor whereby special invites, they're gonna be there and they're gonna participate in the inauguration of Donald Trump. So that's the breaking news that just come in most recently. It's because of changing of those small things in terms of the inauguration. Another big news that comes in, it's the launch of Melania Coin. Melania, she's a wife of Donald Trump. She's going to be a first lady from today, and she has launched the crypto coin called Melania Coin. And this crypto coin, we saw since the beginning of last week, crypto coin start bullishing up. We saw Bitcoin pushes the price all the way to 103, 104. I mean, if you think about it, Bitcoin, it was sitting at $60,000 around December or beginning of December. It sits about around about $50,000 around November, December. Imagine if you buy it then, and right now it's sitting at 108 $1,000 to going to $110,000. I mean, last week I have a video that is there, and I talked about the Bitcoin is going to bulishing up at least to 110 today. Already today is sitting at 108. I think by the end of today it might get to 110. So that's the expectations. We're expecting that Bitcoin goes to 110, 115, 120. In fact, by the whole entire week, that's where we're gonna see Bitcoin rising up and up and up and again. And we spoke about gold to depreciate, and definitely from today we saw a little bit of depreciation of gold, and we're gonna try to check it out as well. How God is performing at the moment. But again, time to time when we go on live on these sessions, we're going to also check the market and see how the market is performing at that particular time. So in fact, right now it's 10:55 a.m. in South African time. Already the London session has just opened 30 minutes ago, if I may say. There's a couple of movement that we see in the market in terms of FTSE 100, in terms of German 30. We saw a little bit of bullish movement, but most interesting, FTSE 100 on Friday has just shown a gap, formed a gap on a market, on a chart. So the anticipation there that as much as it can go up, it might come back again down, when it comes to recover that gap and then start forming the bullish movement. So we saw Starmer last week, Prime Minister of United Kingdom, speaking, and that's what actually tried to push the FTSE 100 at the moment. So yeah, that's couple of news that are actually happening. We see, so in terms of the calendar, Monday US stocks bond closed, Trump inauguration. Tuesday we're seeing UK jobless. Again, there's a Netflix earnings that are coming on Tuesday. Wednesday, there's a European Central Bank, Madam Jessie Lingard. She's speaking, I think, in terms of the interest rate, whether it's gonna increase or not. So there's a couple of stuff, for this week. Very, very interesting market. I think it's a bullish market when it comes to a lot of US stock. That's what we're gonna expect. So for now, as we said, this is just the build up in terms of the Trump inauguration. So wanna just check it out, few things, few speeches, the last speech that he made in terms of the Trump inauguration. Okay, here.
Make it the most beautiful capital in the world. Our children to love our country, to honor the American flag. And we would get critical for schools.
I don't know if the volume is going up, but let me just try to.
And always remember, this is so easy. This will be done tomorrow. We will keep men out of women's sports. It's over.
Yeah,
I will defend
the last is
and I will defend the right to keep
inauguration. So let's just check it out a little bit and see.
After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and breaking foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will.
That's the typical Donald Trump, as we
not
always
be
say.
Everyone in our country will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope, and also filled with a thing called the American dream that you don't hear much about anymore. For the past 9 years, you and I fought side by side against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. And in our magnificent victory on November 5th, you showed them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
You can see behind Donald Trump there, the guy
from New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, and from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C. Our country was won and built by generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle stand in their path. Nothing could get in their way. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built the great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and launched American astronauts to the moon. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 75 days ago on November 5th, it was hardworking patriots like you who saved our country. You saved our country. Now, after all we have been through together,
This is
we stand on the verge of the four.
referring on his victory in terms of he won the elections, and he truly believed that he won the elections because of the labor people who are working. And if you've been following the story of Donald Trump in terms of getting into a presidential elections, and how he was actually performing. Donald Trump was part of a lot of podcasts, which is the podcast is the ones that currently touches a little bit of young people, touches people that they're no longer listening to traditional radio or to traditional TV. So he was going that route, and that route actually help elect President Donald Trump to people to understand him, including black people in the United States, to really understand what exactly Donald Trump you want to do. Remember, if you remember, Donald Trump was going against the female, and she was the first female to stand on that that party. And if she could have won, she could have been the first female president of the United States. On top of that, and she was a black lady, right? So there was a lot of things that are actually, going against Trump, and Trump, because of he likes to criticize in terms of his campaign style. And it was very difficult for him to criticize a woman because it will end up as a gender, issue. So that was a very, 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 critical when it comes to elections or campaign of United States Donald Trump. And again, if he tries to criticize in terms of black, she was a black lady, it'll be another issue. So him going through the podcast in the United States, different podcasts, touches a lot of people hearts, and understand where exactly Donald Trump is going, and why a lot of people now elect him to come back as the president of United States. So let's continue, hearing what
A failed and corrupt political establishment in Washington, a failed administration. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. We're going to unlock the liquid gold that's right under our feet, liquid gold. We're going to bring back law and order to our cities. We're going to restore patriotism to our schools, get radical left woke.
All right, that's the typical Donald Trump style. That's how he does the speech. But always, we must always remember, that Donald Trump's campaign, the most focus, it was about the border management, right? He feels like, even if from the first time he was talking about building a wall, in Mexico, so that a lot of people from Mexico shouldn't jump going to United States. When he came back, his campaign, his major campaign, was always about the border, and to make sure that the United States borders in Mexico has to be protected. That is why the idea of building the wall there, so that it can be, so that people shouldn't just come in. And he's using the word invading, so that people shouldn't invade the United States. I mean, to be honest, if a lot of people come to your country or to your region that are not actually, registered. They just, jump the border. That's part of invading of the economy, because these people, they're going to actually participate in that economy, whether in a positive or negative. They're gonna get a job if they will get a job and registered and start paying tax if they are actually, come in the right way. But if they come in the wrong way, it's difficult for themselves or even the company to register them until they have some sort of, like, refugee paper. Then they can register them. Then they can start paying a lot of, maybe paying benefits to the government of the United States. But at the same time, these people, when they have sick, they're gonna go to the hospital. If they have kids, their kids, they're gonna want to access the schools. If they have a car, they're gonna drive in the street, in a road of, on that. So that's where is coming from when they talk about invading of United States, not as such as invading of Ukraine and Russia, but was type of economic invasion, which is, we saw it to different countries having economic invasion, but not by choice as well. Some people, it's not by choice, it's because of economic problems of that specific country. So yeah, that's what Trump is talking about, taking out, negative thoughts or negative impacts in their military hierarchy, which is the biggest military board, to take it out those negative impacts, and so that they can. But I have no idea why you want to do that and what's the achievement in terms of that. But anyway, let's continue to hear what Mr. Trump in terms of build up.
Too big to rig. That's what I used to say. Too big to rig. We made it too big. Oh, and they tried. They tried. It was too big. Around 9:02, they just said, let's get the hell out of here. This isn't working. They were swamped, to put it nicely. We also took back the U.S. Senate. We had some great people running. And the House Republicans won their largest popular vote majority in presidential year since 1928. We had a lot of people voting. So the Senate, the House Republicans, you got all three of them. A little bit close on those two. The Senate's in great shape. House Republicans, actually, they both have great leaders. They both have great people. Heading John Thune is fantastic. And if you look at Mike Johnson, he's got a pretty tight majority, but actually it's very tight, but it's very good because we vote unified. We're really voting unified, and so it doesn't make much difference in the election of 2024, which will be the most consequential election in American history. We numbered to come. That's what we want to do. And someday, in 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, some of these young people are going to say, I remember Donald Trump, he did a good job. He set us on his way. He told us, he gave us a path. Our new administration will inherit disasters at home and abroad, an economy plagued by inflation and high interest rates, a catastrophic border crisis. Nobody can believe they let people in.
Trump,
they have an open border policy. Do you think that
a whole
makes
lot of
sense?
speech that you can actually check it out on your own when it comes to the inauguration of Donald Trump and the eve of inauguration of Trump. But again, we are in Davos, and there's a lot of things that
Levels
are
are so
actually,
high, and we saw this
talking
at work, of course,
based on
classically last week in the UK.
economic and
I
finance.
think this will be a
And
feature of
that's
this
that's
dynamic
that's
that I
another
talked about
another
earlier,
part
where you have
we need
higher
to
rates on average,
visit rates
volatility,
and see. But again, there's a little bit of also
growth
build up
that
in
can then
terms of
get you out of this track. Also, on the policy side, uncertainty and volatility in financial markets, but it will also create uncertainty and volatility in financial markets, but it will also create opportunities. Rates have gone up. We have money market. market funds waiting to be deployed. Some of that will move into the fixed income space, infrastructure, private markets, credit. So I think these things, create opportunities as well.
Philip, thank you so much. Philip Hildebrand, the Vice Chair of BlackRock, stays with us. We'll talk a little bit more about the banks and, of course, also Swiss inflation. Plenty more to come from Davos. This is Bloomberg.
All right, we're still on a Donald Trump inauguration. So what we're trying to do is just to see the build up, how the build up is going, and to checking in a different, channels, and to hear a different analysts, and as well as, to put a little bit of our idea, what we think about about the elections. I mean, about the inauguration, as about the market itself.
With leaders of the Senate and the House of
Now,
Representatives,
in terms
as
of
well as invited guests. That would usually be followed by a presidential parade, but President Trump is now expected to join the crowd at the Capital One Arena.
The Capital
The
One
President
Arena
will
is
then
the one
arrive
that
at
I
the
was
White
talking
House at
about
around
earlier
5 p.m.
that
local time, 10
they're
p.m.
going to
UK,
have another
where he'll take
event,
part in an
Capital
Oval
One,
Office signing
separate
ceremony.
event, but they're
Before
gonna have
attending
again,
no fewer than
the
3
inauguration
inaugural
of the
balls: the Commander-in-Chief Ball, the Liberty Inaugural Ball, and the Starlight Ball. So that is what is coming up throughout the day. And David, I mean, judging from the temperature now, what is it, -6 feels like -10. It's probably not the worst decision to go indoors.
Feels like a very wise decision. It was 1985 when they last took this event indoors, the second inauguration of Ronald Reagan. It was -14 on that occasion, and they've good reason to do this today. Back in the 1840s, William Henry Harrison was inaugurated on the steps of the Capitol in freezing conditions. He delivered a 2-hour speech without a coat or a hat.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that
and died of pneumonia 1 month later.
The inauguration is going to be indoors.
Making history by becoming the president to serve the shortest term
-6
on record. So I think we're in danger of
in Washington
heading the same direction if we don't go indoors ourselves.
Yeah, well, I
Washington.
remember 2009.
I think by the time we
President
get
Obama,
to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that would be
President Obama,
7.
and it was pretty cold. I think it was -2, but that's positively warm compared to what it's going to be today. But listen, David, thanks very much indeed, and that is about it from me for now. Join us, as I say, throughout the day for the inauguration of Donald Trump. Now over to Jerusalem and Anna.
All right. So for now, I think we need to check it out, the market itself. I think the first session, in terms of checking what's going on in the news and what exactly where it's going to happen in terms of the inauguration. But now let's check how the market is looking, and so that we can see as well, how the market is performing at the time. Okay. Let's go to the chart. Here we go. Okay. So we are on UK 100, UK 100, FTSE 100. Remember the news that we said this week there will be European Central Bank actually, releasing the interest rate as well. And today as well, we're expecting South Africa to release the interest rate as well. It's been bullishing, but this is the gap that I talked about earlier on, that this instrument has gapped up So I'm anticipating after the bullish movement, it will come down a little bit all the way to recover this gap. But the most interesting also instrument is gold. As we said that gold, it's a safe haven of a dollar, right? So if today a dollar starting, giving a little bit of strength, then we are anticipating a dollar to fall, right? I mean gold to fall. So you can see range already that it might go to 2690, 2690. But if it is that strong in terms of the dollar, it might go to 2650. 2650. So gold there, clear, pure, position there to make some money. When it comes to also to a dollar to a ZAR, it's 1873. Yesterday it get to all the way to 1850 or 1860. Let me see exactly. That's 1860. That was yesterday. Remember, today there's Governor Lesesha Khanyaho speaking about the interest rate of South Africa. So, are we expecting the rand to gain the momentum, and how is it going to perform because of Trump as well? It's actually inaugurating, and we're expecting a dollar to have some power. So let's just see, maybe if we check on a US index. If we look on a US index, I don't know, where is it here? All right, we're gonna check it out, but see how it's performing. So US index is the instrument that measures the strength of the dollar. So the more bullish of the index, it gives us the idea that the dollar itself is gaining the momentum. The more bearish it is, it gives us the idea that the dollar it's losing the momentum. The other instrument that is really in a big conversation, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin sitting at 106, 106. Remember, we said by the end of this week it might get to. I mean, it was already on. This coin is gonna be crazy. It was already on 110. 1999.80. That's 110. So definitely it's gonna go to 110 today. I'm not doubting about it, and even surpass 110 today. That I'm not doubting about, and that's the opportunity that people can jump in and actually make something in terms of Bitcoin. In terms of Bitcoin, look at the bullish, and again the supporting news is that the wife of Donald Trump just launches the coin. That tells everyone how much these guys they believe in a crypto coin, right? In a Bitcoin. If they launch the crypto coin, of course, they're gonna make out money out of it because it's gonna be bullish movement. Is gonna be a bullish coin. So that's it in terms of a small analysis, or just checking up in the market. And here again the news about the build up about the Donald Trump inauguration. A biggest story is that it has been moved, as we see it's -6 degrees. It has been moved to be indoors, but there will be a different arenas that they will be able to actually have some different performance, some different speeches, and so on. So yeah, man, it's the daily money market. We will going time to time on live, just to check it out on the market, and as well as to check it out how the inauguration is going. So thank you very much. Let's keep on so that we can check it out together, these things.